non-combat except for the mortars. These are communication, dump trucks, bulldozers. Generally non-combat if we talk of the total amount. Yes, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. And of course, I don't want a detailed economic justification, but for example, how can we relate the MRB to promoting economic development?
I assure Mr. Speaker, just in terms of the shipbuilding process, I assume there will be a technology transfer component to this. Will allow Filipino shipbuilders to be trained and acquire such expertise and skills. Eventually, the deployment of an MRV, it should be suited for exclusive economic zone patrol. Likewise, as we said earlier,
so it can be used to protect our exclusive economic zone and our territorial sea.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, aside from protecting vital economic installations like Malampaya in particular.
About movement of people, movement of materials.
The MRV is equipped with 2 landing vehicles and such could be used for amphibious operations or transport of troops.
Can they be used to ferry civilians?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, it is called a multi-role vessel. It could be configured into a government center. So it could be used for search and rescue and likewise for disaster relief.
Can it be used to ferry supplies, for example, for an area that may critically need those supplies, materials, construction materials, for example, rice, vital economic commodities?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, as we've known, even the old landing tank ships of the Philippine Navy, the LSTs, these are basic functions of the Philippine Navy, Mr. Speaker.
So I guess it's very obvious that it is an economic entity.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Not just a military entity. The only difference is that it has armor and it has armament.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I guess the emphasis here is the M and the R. It is a multi-role vessel.
Thank you. What about the aircraft, the search and rescue? How can we provide the economic justification if some people will say, why are we investing so much for search and rescue? What is the economic justification for search and rescue?
Are we referring to the Philippine Air Force? Or
the Philippine Air Force now. You're talking of 2 search and rescue helicopters.
Well, in such case, where it's very definition that it could be used for search and rescue purposes, probably it would have limited lift capability. It could actually perform limited reconnaissance and patrol missions, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Now, let me go to the process. But first, I would like to ask the question. That was the presentation about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Has there been any change in the composition of what you intend to acquire under the AFP Modernization Program?
Well, Mr. Speaker, there were active discussions as to suggestions. Officially, the list has not changed.
Thank you. And is it correct to say, Mr. Speaker, that there is a process that must be respected to protect first the strategy, the doctrine, and of course the integrity of the acquisition program?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I was privileged to be briefed by some Navy officers, even the MRD, the very first initiation of this procurement process started way back in 2008, and they're quite proud that they went through the process and truly justified that the Navy needs an MRD.
And under the law, AFP Modernization Law, which the GAA cannot amend. And may I seek the confirmation from our distinguished sponsor. The GAA cannot amend the AFP Modernization Act. Is that not correct, Mr. Speaker, distinguished sponsor?
That is true, Mr. Speaker. The budget by its nature is funding government. It has no business in amending existing law, just like the budget itself could not amend or repeal the automatic debt servicing.
And no special provision can be crafted that will amend the provisions of the AFP Modernization Act. Is that not correct?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, probably special provisions would merely enhance the implementation or guidelines, but definitely not amend or contravene provisions of the AFP Modernization Laws.
Under Section 5 of the AFP Modernization Act, under Section 7 of the AFP Modernization Act, it states that Congress shall approve the AFP Modernization Program through a joint resolution, and it shall be the basis for subsequent executive and legislative actions to implement the AFP Modernization Program. May I know the status of this?
Well, Mr. Speaker, the existing joint resolution is Joint Resolution number 28. However, dated 1996. Apparently, this is still the joint resolution in effect for the AFP Modernization Act, Mr. Speaker.
And of course, if it is a joint resolution which has the effect of a law, no member of Congress, not even the chairman of the Committee on Appropriations, can amend the joint resolution.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, probably not unless both houses would then come up with another joint resolution allowing a reassessment, since this dated 96, probably a more appropriate and updated list, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Then under Section 8 of the AFP Modernization Act, Paragraph C, it says here, with respect to multi-year contracts and other contractual arrangements, and I think the MRP falls under this provision, the Secretary of National Defense has submitted to Congress through the chairman of the Senate Committees on National Defense and Security and Finance, and the chairman of the House Committees on National Defense and Appropriations, copies of these multi-year contracts and other agreements